Now that one seems to have controlled itself somewhat. Probably run out of combustibles. But this one is really taken off. This is from floor, from all the way to the street level, all the way to the roof. And there's even a fire up on the roof, smaller. I just know there's a lot of debris falling out of the sky. I don't know what the hell it is here. Look in the back. That's the air conditioning cooling system. It's whatever. It is an inferno back there. God, this piece is huge. From here they don't look big, but they're probably 10, 15, 20 feet long. Look at that. Falling right there. That's 5 meters, 6 meters long. There, nothing left. You see this piece right in the front? It fell, it didn't make the roof. Now it's going to fall off the roof and down onto the sidewalk. There must be hundreds. Look at it falling, pieces falling down. That's Ratchet Up Heatsec Road at the bottom, opposite Robinson's. This is the parking structure for Robinson's, and right across the street is where we are. That's what's left of the cooling system. God, I hope you can hear those bangs and crashes. That's unbelievable. This reminds me of a fire I saw in Los Angeles 30 years ago. 80 floors. Did this right the way up the side and inside. Gutted the whole building. The other road, you see this fire? Oh no, that's a reflection. See, this building has gone out. Nothing at the top is happening. Here is where the damage has been caused. Look at this. I'm sorry to say it, but this is probably arson, because there's nothing in this building to make this fire travel so quick. Yeah, now there seems to be a fire down on the ground floor. Something's fallen and caught fire from this. Yeah, it's dropping. Yeah, there's fire down on the ground floor now.
Looking like a Three Stooges movie covered in plastic, I swear to God. What are you gonna put in there? That's some good shit. Then we went back there. Whoa, 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 whoa! The second movie came out 20 years later. Looking like a Three Stooges movie covered in plastic, I swear to God. What are you gonna put in there? That's some good shit. Then we went back there. Whoa, 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 whoa! Looking like a Three Stooges movie covered in plastic, I swear to God. What are you gonna put in there? That's some good shit. Then we went back there. Whoa, 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 whoa!
Shattering from the top, engulfed by banana peel plumes, these were no ordinary implosions. The Twin Towers each consisted of 3 multi-story buildings set on top of one another. To sustain the weight of so many floors, the sky lobbies had to be extra heavily reinforced. Watch a big squib coming from the sky lobby band. South Tower fell first. This is the shockwave blast as it rocks the tower next door. The ground continued to burn.
You'd get down below and you'd see molten steel running down the channel rails. Like you're in a foundry, like lava.
The crews kept spraying, but still, underground, molten metal flowed and the fires burned on.
You see how this debris is still smoking? That's when the fire is going to still burn it. 8 weeks later, we still got fires burning.
In November 2005, physics professor Stephen Jones of Brigham Young University published a 25-page treatise on the collapse of the Twin Towers and Building 7, applying the laws of physics to the official story. From an interview on MSNBC.
As we read in the FEMA report, it says here, and I put this in my paper, of course, the best hypothesis, which is the only one they looked at, fire, has only a low probability of occurrence. Further investigation, analyses are needed to resolve this issue, and
Professor,
I agree with that.
I am sorry that we are out of time, and I'm not sure that you've
one other thing I want to mention about...
Okay, if you can hit it just with it quickly.
All right. Okay, here we go. Molten metal in the basements of all 3 buildings.
Right.
And yet all scientists now reasonably agree that the fires were not sufficiently hot to melt the steel. So what is this molten metal? It's a direct evidence for the use of high-temperature explosives such as thermite. Thermite produces molten iron as an end product.
Okay. We appreciate your coming on, even if I don't understand your theories. We appreciate you trying to explain them. Thanks.
Professor Jones barely got in his mention of thermite. An incendiary used by the military, thermite is a compound of iron oxide and aluminum, which when ignited sustains an extreme heat reaction, creating molten iron. In just 2 seconds, thermite can reach temperatures over 4,500 degrees Fahrenheit, quite enough to liquefy steel. This is thermite melting the engine of a car. We know that open-air fires cannot burn hot enough to melt steel, but metal had melted at the base of the towers. The second product of a thermite reaction is aluminum oxide, visible as white smoke. Did thermite arson occur on September 11th? Watch this very bright substance pouring from the 81st floor of the South Tower. And white smoke appeared at the base of the building. Would this be aluminum oxide, the byproduct of a thermite reaction? Appendix C of the FEMA report describes sulfur residues on the World Trade Center steel. The New York Times called this the deepest mystery of all. Sulfur slightly lowers the melting point of iron, and iron oxide and iron sulfide had formed on the surface of the structural steel. Sulfur used with thermite is called thermate, producing even faster results. Let's look at what happens in the demolition industry. Taking down large structures requires preparation. Powerful explosives and heavy equipment are used in advance to weaken the foundation and bottom sections of a building before additional explosives and gravity bring the rest of it down. The words of a senior blaster.
We blow the basement, all the columns in the basement. Then we crack it up at the top to get it started. We go every other floor all the way down. Every explosive has a timer on it. That's why it's controlled. When the columns go, each floor goes down and impacts the one below and keeps going.
Here's what demolition experts use in steel-framed buildings: the linear shaped charge.
It's a chevron-shaped or V-shaped charge that you can focus at a specific target, and it's lethal. It generates around 3 million pounds per square inch pressure at a speed, depending on the explosive inside the shaped charge, in excess of 27,000 feet per second.
Besides the unfathomably powerful shaped charge, blasters have a lot of tricks.
There are over 1,000 different types of explosive, different because they detonate at varying speeds.
Were the underground explosions intended to blow out the Twin Towers' basements, followed by blasts heard inside the buildings of shaped charges slicing the core?
The secondary explosion. We've got numerous people covered with dust from the secondary explosion.
Demolition pre-weakening usually takes place well in advance of the final blast, but at the World Trade Center, critical prep work might have had to occur in a very compressed time frame in the panicked aftermath of the plane strikes. These core columns were discovered after the collapse. The angled cut occurs in exactly the manner that shaped charges slice through steel beams to control the way they fall. Notice the hardened once-liquid metal. Was thermite used with the shaped charge?
The job of the shaped charge is to cut steel H-beams.
The way we do this is by cutting the beam at an angle, which, through a series of beams cut at the same angle, will tend to make the building shift over and walk.
Let's look at the rubble of two 110-story buildings brought to the ground. In a 7-story crater lie over 1 million tons of debris. Had the basements not been blown out, where would the rubble have gone? Heaped on the ground, ready to slide and spill? The art of controlled demolition. Remember the pre-collapse and mid-collapse explosions caught by Richard Siegel's camera on the Jersey Shore? Were these the blasts that took out the core and upper basements just before the final crumble? A mind-boggling sequence of computer-controlled delays that blew the exoskeleton, pulverized the concrete, to bring the whole structure rolling to the ground. Was this the story of that day?
Inside our building, the North Tower, we heard pa 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 pa. And on the